I worked in the airline industry as a ground technician for several years. Specifically, I was one of the guys who helps unload the luggage into the hold, but I worked right alongside the guys who drive the tugs and direct the planes into the gate. Most of my co-workers at the Seattle airport were good people. The job can get boring and repetitive at times, and during certain weather conditions, it can be especially grueling, but we were all in it together. However, I had one co-worker whose actions have directly traumatized me regarding the safety of aircraft, and even caused me to be let go from my job and barred from working in the aircraft industry, simply because I was associated with him. His name was Dylan, and I don't think he should have ever been allowed to work around airplanes, or any heavy machinery for that matter. I was frequently paired with him while loading and unloading planes, and even though he was extremely fast and efficient at his job, I had a feeling that it wasn't purely because of his inherent work ethic. Dylan was always a little off. He would go from being lethargic and despondent in one moment to completely energized and hyper-enthusiastic in the next, and it was always right after a bathroom break. I was convinced he was a crackhead and that I should have reported him to our superiors, but foolishly I always let it slide, partly because I didn't want to be a snitch. I always knew something was up with him, and it always baffled me how he got past the drug test. Even though Dylan always cut down the time significantly with packing luggage, I always wanted to avoid working with him one-on-one. But unfortunately, most of my shifts were stuck with him. One night, we were doing the red-eye shift together. I liked the overnight schedule because it was much less hectic than the daytime. I remember Dylan saying something like,
"Look at how big these planes are. Wouldn't it be awesome to fly one of these things for once?" I guess, but we're not pilots though. Oh, come on. It can't be that hard, can it? Dude, just hurry up and get down from there so we can go on break.
That's when Dylan gave me the strangest, most angry look on his face, and then got down from the door and locked it up. After that, we were just about to clock out for break when we got radioed to one more thing. Sometimes during the middle of the night, there aren't any crew members left on the planes to do the final checks in the cabin. When that happens, that leaves the ground technicians to fill in. All we were supposed to do was make sure there wasn't any luggage left behind in the compartments of the plane. As usual, there wasn't anything left, but that didn't stop Dylan from taking the opportunity to use the bathroom on the plane.
Dude, you're not supposed to do that. They already dumped the tanks. Shh, don't worry about it, man.
I tried to stop him, but he locked himself inside. I made myself busy for a few minutes while I waited for him to do his thing. When he finally came out, Dylan was more whacked out than ever before. He was drooling down his shirt and his eyes were bloodshot. In that state of mind, Dylan was barely even there, and his one-track mind got fast-tracked.
Get out of my way! I gotta fly this thing! Hell no, calm down, you psycho! You don't even know what you're doing! Shut up!
I tried to stop him, but Dylan charged right through me, then ran all the way down the aisle and locked himself in the cockpit. I caught up to the door and started banging on it in a last-ditch effort to get him to see reason.
Dylan!